Oh my gosh, I just love this park in the fall.
Me too, it's so beautiful. Did you see the little gazebo?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Speak, the podcast where we help you speak English with confidence in real life every single day. I'm Eden.
And I'm Gabby, and today we are talking about something that so many of our listeners have asked about: job interviews.
Yes, specifically, we're talking about how to focus on your strengths in a job interview. Because here's the thing, knowing what you're good at is only half the battle. The other half is being able to talk about it clearly and confidently in English.
Exactly. And a lot of people freeze up when they get into an interview, not because they're not qualified, but because they don't have the right words. So today, we're giving you the tactics and the language to back them up.
Right. We'll be sharing phrases, vocabulary, and real examples you can actually use. So whether you have an interview coming up next week or you just want to be prepared, this episode is for you. Let's get into it.
Okay, so Eden, let's start from the beginning. Why is it so important to focus on your strengths during a job interview? Like, why is that the strategy?
Great question. So think about what an interviewer is really trying to do. They're trying to figure out, is this person the right fit for this role? And when you lead with your strengths, meaning when you make your strengths the main focus of your answers, you're basically doing their job for them. You're saying, here's why you should hire me.
Right.
And in English, we have a phrase for this. We say to put your best foot forward. It means to present yourself in the best possible way. That's exactly what you're doing when you focus on your strengths.
Oh, I love that phrase, to put your best foot forward. And it's super common, right? You'll hear that in professional settings all the time. Like, I want to put my best foot forward in this interview.
Exactly. It's a great idiom to have in your vocabulary. So write that one down, listeners, to put your best foot forward. Okay, so let's get into our first tactic. Yes, tactic number 1. Know your top 3 strengths before you walk in the door. This sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people skip this step. So true. You want to go into the interview already knowing, like deeply knowing 3 core things you're great at. Maybe it's problem solving, or communication, or attention to detail. Whatever it is, you need to be ready to talk about it. And here's where the English comes in. There are some really powerful phrases you can use to introduce your strengths. For example, you can say, one of my greatest strengths is, and then you fill in the blank. Super simple, super clean.
Yes, or you can say, I've always been someone who, and that gives a sense that this strength is a natural part of who you are. Like, I've always been someone who thrives under pressure. It sounds natural and confident.
Oh, that's such a good one. I've always been someone who... Listeners, that phrase does a lot of work. It tells the interviewer that this isn't just something you learned yesterday. It's a genuine quality. And notice the word thrive, Thrive. To thrive means to do really well, to flourish. So I thrive under pressure means pressure actually brings out the best in you.
Right, yeah, and to flourish is a great synonym for that too. Both words sound really polished in an interview context.
Absolutely. Okay, so now let's talk about tactic number 2, because knowing your strengths is one thing, but proving them, that's where most people lose points.
Yes, tactic 2 is all about using what's called the STAR method. It's a super popular interview technique, and once you understand it, your answers will sound so much more structured and professional.
So STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. You start by describing a situation you were in, then you explain the task or challenge you faced, then you talk about the action you took, and finally you share the result.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use an example. Say your strength is leadership. An interviewer might ask, "Can you tell me about a time you demonstrated leadership?" And instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm a great leader," you use star.
Right, so you'd say something like, in my previous role, our team was falling behind on a major project. That's the situation. My task was to get us back on track. So I organized daily check-ins and reassigned some responsibilities based on each team member's strengths. That's the action. And as a result, we delivered the project on time and our manager recognized the team's effort in a company-wide email.
See how that's so much more powerful than just saying, "I'm a good leader"? You're showing it, not just telling it. And there's actually a phrase for that in English: show, don't tell. It means instead of just claiming something, you give evidence.
Yes, show, don't tell. That's golden. And listeners, also notice the vocabulary in that example. Words like reorganized, reassigned, delivered, and recognized. These are strong action verbs. Using action verbs in an interview makes you sound decisive and capable.
Oh, such a good point. Action verbs. We're talking words like managed, led, developed, implemented, improved, achieved. These words carry a lot of weight in English. They make your sentences feel active and strong, not passive and vague.
Totally. And the opposite would be something like, I was kind of involved in a project. That's vague. It doesn't say anything. So use those strong verbs and be specific.
Love it. Okay, moving on to tactic 3. This one is about tailoring your strengths to the job. And this is honestly the secret sauce, the thing that takes a good interview answer and makes it a great one.
Oh, yes. So what this means is before your interview, you read the job description really carefully and you identify which of your strengths match what the company is looking for. Then you make sure those strengths come up naturally in your answers.
Right, because saying I'm very organized means a lot more if the job posting literally says they need a highly organized self-starter. You're speaking their language.
Exactly.
And speaking of vocabulary, self-starter is a fantastic word for listeners to know. A self-starter is someone who is motivated and takes initiative without being told what to do. It's a very commonly used term in job descriptions, especially in English-speaking countries.
Yes, and there are a few other compound words like that which come up a lot in job interviews, like team player, someone who works well with others, or problem solver, someone who finds solutions. These are kind of like ready-made phrases that interviewers love to hear.
Ready-made phrases, I like that. And there's also a great expression you can use to connect your strengths to the role. You can say, I believe this role is a great fit for me because, and then link your strengths to what the job requires. It sounds confident without sounding arrogant.
Ooh, and the word arrogant is worth unpacking. Arrogant means thinking you're better than others, and it has a really negative tone in English. The goal in an interview is to sound confident, sure of yourself, but not arrogant. And the way you do that is by grounding everything in examples and facts.
So well said. Confident, not arrogant. That's the sweet spot. Okay, so let's tackle tactic 4. And this one's a bit tricky. What do you do when an interviewer asks about your weaknesses? Because that question is trying to throw you off.
Ah, yes, the dreaded weakness question. What is your greatest weakness? It makes a lot of people panic. But here's the tactic. You don't avoid it, you reframe it.
Yes, to reframe something means to change the way you look at it or present it. So instead of saying, I'm terrible at time management, which sounds like a red flag, you say something like, in the past, I've sometimes struggled with delegating tasks because I like to make sure things are done right, but I've been working on that by using project management tools and trusting my team more.
Right. And notice what that does. It acknowledges a real weakness, which makes you sound honest, but then it shows growth. And growth is a massive green flag for employers.
And we should talk about those phrases. I've been working on is so useful. It shows you're self-aware and actively improving. And I've come to realize that is another great one. Like, I've come to realize that asking for help is actually a sign of strength, not weakness.
Oh, I love that. I've come to realize that it sounds mature, reflective, and the word self-aware is huge in professional English. Self-aware means you understand your own personality, your strengths, and your weaknesses. Interviewers love candidates who are self-aware.
100%. All right, let's do a quick vocabulary and phrases recap because we've covered a lot of ground today and we want to make sure everything sticks. Gabby, do you want to kick us off?
Yes. Okay, so first the idiom, to put your best foot forward. It means to present yourself in the best way possible. Use it to describe your goal going into an interview.
Next are our key phrases for talking about strengths. One of my greatest strengths is, and I've always been someone who. These are confident, smooth openers that any interviewer will respond well to.
Then our vocabulary words, to thrive, to do really well, especially in challenging situations. Action verbs like managed, led, implemented, achieved, words that make you sound decisive. And self-starter, someone motivated and independent.
And for the weakness question, remember to reframe. That means shift the perspective. Use phrases like, I've been working on, or I've come to realize that, to show growth and self-awareness.
And finally, show, don't tell. Don't just claim your strengths. Back them up with real examples using the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. That's what makes your answers memorable and convincing.
Okay, I think that's a wrap for today's episode. Gabby, any final words for our listeners?
Yes, just this. Job interviews can feel intimidating, especially in a second language, but every single phrase and tactic we talked about today, you can practice right now. Say them out loud. Practice in front of a mirror. Record yourself. Because the more familiar these phrases feel, the more natural they'll sound when it counts.
Absolutely. You've got this. And remember, language learning is a journey. Every interview, every conversation, every episode you listen to is making you better. So keep going.
And if this episode helped you, we'd love it if you liked this video and subscribe to the channel, or wherever you're listening, hit that follow button. It really helps us reach more people who are on this English learning journey.
Yes, please. Every like, every subscribe, every share means the world to us and helps this community grow. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. I'm Eden.
And I'm Gabby. We'll see you in the next episode of The All Speak. Take care and keep speaking.